Hello everyone, welcome back to Continues to Tick, the YouTube channel where we think a lot of the future and we note time as it passes us by. Specifically in this YouTube series, we continue the documentation of watching the growth of starting and following through on a dividend growth portfolio. I'm currently 25 years old, and I know I don't want to work forever, and maybe we're like-minded in that sense. At the minimum, I want to have that option, to hold that card. It's such a power move in life, being able to choose to work rather than to have to work each day. Huge difference between those two. Anyhow, I hope you all had a nice Christmas. This is the first Christmas of this channel, which is quite neat to think about. I started this channel earlier this year, and I'm excited to see the growth so far. And it may sound cliche, but there's a lot more to come to this channel that I am excited about, especially as time permits. I don't plan on stopping this journey anytime soon. Lately though, as a nurse, working face to face with COVID-19, all around us, my days have been pretty busy to say the least. With this said though, my Christmas went well, and I'm excited for a week from now to be in the new calendar year of 2021. Soon 2020 will be one for the books, and one to never speak of again, or speak of forever. What was that? Could be pretty much the best way for me to summarize this year, overall. Transitioning into this week's video though, I'll be sharing my biggest dividend payout to date, along with taking a moment to just reflect on what it is that I do this for, in terms of growing a dividend growth portfolio, thinking of retirement now, planning financially for the future. Maybe by doing so, the idea is to help prompt you to think about why it is that you do this. The journey of growing a dividend portfolio is quite long, and the rewards don't usually show up for quite some time, especially if you're dripping your dividends until financial freedom. So every now and then, it's nice to think about the reason or reasons why we started this journey in the first place, and why we hope to continue the momentum going into the future until we reach our financial goals. Following this, we'll end this week's video like we always do by jumping into the portfolio review for this week, where like I said earlier, I can show you the biggest payout to date, along with where we stand in portfolio size after the week leading into Christmas. So let's begin. So here we are, the end of 2020. I'm 25 years old, and I know I don't want to work forever. I'd prefer to have the choice over anything. Going into work is great, but being 50 to 55 or even 60 years of age, and still having to work, for me doesn't seem quite fun or joyful. And I wouldn't even hesitate to lower that age even more. But the lower the age, the harder and more challenging the goal becomes. So for me, I plan to retire no later than the age of 50, which I have set for myself as a fairly manageable goal overall. I'm currently 25 years old, and I've planted a few financial seeds, or at least I like to think, such as starting and growing this dividend growth portfolio, working for the state of California, where I'm building up a pension, funding a 457B account, on the side, and saving up to invest into real estate for a handful of rental properties along my financial journey. With time, as it continues to tick, I hope to continue to have the ability to water these seeds and watch them grow with time. For me, I'm doing this with the end goal in mind to buy back my time, be in control of my time, and to escape the quote-unquote rat race. Being forced to work for money is such a vulnerable spot to be in, and my biggest goal in planning financially for the future is to overcome this barrier of exchanging my time for money. I like to imagine that once I'm back in control of my time, I can then utilize this space to spend more time with loved ones, for myself, and doing things that bring me, a more fulfilling life. Also with the added benefit of not needing to worry about how I will make my money to survive for the rest of my life and for those around me. Speak to any elderly individual, and they will usually tell you if you ask that it's a quick leap away to get to old age. Life is short, and it's 100% finite. To work most of your time away from people you love or away from doing things you enjoy, at least for me, is not where I want to still be when I'm 50. By 50, I want to have the choice to do so, or not have to at all. The benefit of also planting these seeds is that along the journey or along the way, you feel better, as you'd now have your cornerstones in place. You'd have the critical financial pieces in life being worked on already, no matter what financial goals come your way, such as an emergency expense, spending money on trips, a car, yourself or others. Time. To win back my time. That is why I do this. Because time is a key that can only be held temporarily, and then it's gone. It's a tool that I may utilize in any which way I prefer, and for that alone, it's quite important. With this said though, let's go ahead and dive into the portfolio review for this week. So here we are in the Jesse's cash flow portfolio. $12,929, nearly $13K I don't even think we've crossed 13K at all. Not even like dipped in and dipped out, but we're almost there. Almost there. Next week, I anticipate crossing that mark unless something crazy happens. But the markets are doing overall pretty fair, pretty good right now. Bitcoin has actually been exploding, so the cryptocurrency market's doing well. Not to say that the opposite will happen in the actual stock market, but it's just something I like pointing out because I used to actually own a Bitcoin, and I wish I still did low key, but I don't. But I am interested in crypto. But with that being said, here we are with the almost 13% return. I think last week we were about the same, maybe a little more, but it equates to a $772 gain, which, there's no complaints for me. It says all time we've earned $107 of dividends, and there's a market gain of $664. So I guess adding that up equates to $772. So interesting to see. Like I always say, if you're interested in seeing exactly what it is that I'm holding, definitely check out the link in the description box. There's a link to sharing my pie down below. If you click on that, you can see exactly everything that I'm holding. For example, my consumer staples, and any other sector that I have here, just because I do have it divided by sector. I don't like diving into individual stocks, but if you are curious just to see what it is and you want to compare, or you're just curious, definitely check that out. I'm not a financial advisor, so I really don't like digging and pointing out individual stocks. But let's go ahead and check out the activity for this week. So like I was mentioning earlier in the video, this week was actually my best dividend payout week thus far, and specifically by one holding that I have. And as you can see here, we started the week off, and then we got to December 23rd, and it was SPYD, which is a ETF. It's the high dividend ETF. I can't vouch for this. I just hold it. I did my research in it. I felt like it was one that I can have in my portfolio, but I don't want to vouch for it. Everybody is, subject to their own opinions. And like I was just saying before, I'm not a financial advisor, so I don't advise anything. But I just want to point it out because it's what I do in my videos. And I got a dividend payout by $22 just from this holding. It is one of my bigger holdings in my portfolio, but it's pretty nice to see that overall this week with my SPYD and my LMT and the VIG ETF, which gave me $5.99, that with these three payouts this week, I nearly got $30. It was like about $29.50 with these three payouts. So it was nearly $30. Nearly a $30 dividend payout just with these three companies. And $30 or nearly $30 would be the most I've been paid in dividends in any given week since I opened this portfolio. And if you're new to the channel, every now and then I do go back and I show that I did start this portfolio back on July 20th of 2020. Started it with a deposit of $650. I was playing around with it in the beginning, and I eventually set on depositing $500 every single week, which if you see here on the current week, we deposited on December 23rd another $500, which is this week's deposit. And then there's a little snowball of $503 into 47 companies in my portfolio, or 47 holdings, I guess I should say. But if we go back here to my portfolio summary, you can see that the cash balance is $30.77. Huge snowball that's going to happen this next week. And I feel like I'm saying it, more often. Week after week, it almost feels like I'm saying this is the biggest snowball. This is the biggest dividend payout. And it's going to continually up itself. Every now and then, it's going to continue to get better. My portfolio is only getting bigger. My holdings are only getting larger. And that dividend payout's only going to get bigger and follow along suit with that. So it's exciting times. This year was a very interesting year. The market crashed, it recovered, and it has recovered since. The Dow Jones is setting records. Bitcoin is higher than it has ever been. The slow and steady approach, the boring approach with the dividend growth portfolio, that is where my heart is. I've played with crypto. I've played with trading and short-term selling of stocks. But this format, slow and steady, for me, I like to think it does win the race. And that's what I equate to dividend growth investing. It's boring, but it's consistent. And I know as long as I stay disciplined, I'll eventually have a nice financial passive income pillow that will meet me there at the finish line. Hopefully no later than the age of 50, but hopefully before the age of 50. I hope to, with the seeds that I've planted financially, to retire earlier than I can even imagine. And I hope the same goes for you. If you're watching this video, you're clearly interested in trying to retire early, buy back your time. You're just interested in making financial steps that may hopefully benefit us in the future. So if you like this video, definitely give it a like. Do subscribe. This channel is just getting started. I have noticed the continual growth, and I think it's really cool. So for any new subscribers that are coming through and watching, it's definitely very appreciated, and I think it's very cool. But with that being said, this series isn't going to stop anytime soon. I'm going to document my journey to reaching financial independence, reaching financial freedom, building a good-sized dividend portfolio, reaching the point in time where I can say, you know what, I bought back my time. I can work if I want to, or I could choose not to. And I know once that time comes, it'll be very special. But I know I'm rambling now. I hope you guys have a good week coming up. New Year's is right here around the corner, literally around the corner. And I will see you on next week's video. Peace.